they're off. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to beautiful Belmont Park on this Memorial Day 2022. Here at Belmont, it is Big Apple Showcase Day as we feature New York breds throughout the 10-race card. We do have a pick six carryover today of $73,000. Right now, we'll take a look at today's changes. In the first race, scratch number 2, Missing Fortune. Scratch number 2, the 1 is 1 pound over. Second race is the Mount Vernon Stakes. Number 5 is 1 pound over. In the third, scratch number 7, here's Waldo. Third race, scratch the 7, here's Waldo. An equipment change in race 4, number 7, Mr. Connecticut, runs with blinkers on. Blinkers on, number 7, Mr. Connecticut. Race 5 will start the pick 6, and we have that $73,000 carryover. Scratch 1, Alicia's Way, and scratch 3, Waterville. Scratch numbers 1 and 3. Equipment change on the 6, Cannon Fire. She runs with blinkers on. Blinkers on the 6. Race 6 is the Critical Eye Handicap. No changes. The 7th race, the Bowery Stakes. Scratch number 7, Liberty Flame. Scratch the 7, Liberty Flame. The 8th race, the Mike Lee Stakes. Scratch 6, Salute to America, and 8, Hot Rod Rumble. Scratch 6 and 8 out of the 8th. The 9th race, the Kingston Stakes, there are no changes. And in today's 10th and final race, scratch 6, Celebrity News. Scratch the 6. A rider change on the 10, Silken Dollar, to Luis Saez. Luis Saez rides the 10. And scratch 14, I'll Go All In, 15, Valuz, and 16, Boss of All. Again in race 10, scratch 6, 14, 15, and 16. Main track is fast. The turf courses are firm. Portable rail up on the widened turf at 18 feet and at 27 feet on the inner. And we have that pick 6 carryover of $73,000. We'll come back at 12:30 to recap the changes. First race post today is at 1 p.m. Up next, the Memorial Day edition of Talking Horses with Andy Serling and Anthony Stabile.
morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses on this Memorial Day. A day, Anthony, of course, we remember people made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, so our thoughts are with them. And it's good to be here with you.
Yes.
How you doing today?
Doing well.
Good.
Wrap up the holiday weekend. Look forward to one more week before the Belmont Stakes Racing Festival.
Racing Festival. Please refer to it as the Racing Festival.
I do.
We're all about.
I respect festivals.
We're all about festivals.
I'm a
up
walking
here.
festival.
It's all exactly.
La Festa. Maybe it's a new nickname.
Yeah, that's not. I don't think that's you. Anyhow, we've got 10 races today. It is New York Red Showcase Day. I don't know. Do we have different names for different days? Do you?
I don't know. I spent about 15 minutes with Jim and the
Jim.
one and only Naja Thompson.
Jim.
I don't remember Jim's last name. Jim didn't give me his last name, actually. But we were talking a little bit about our state bred program and how great these days are. The three of them, right? The traditional one in the fall, which is Empire Showcase Day, and then New York Red Showcase Day today, and I believe it's Big Apple Showcase Day on Travers Eve up at Saratoga. And yeah, it's important. You and I probably know this better than most, but we remember the days when dropping into state bred races was considered a drop-in class, right? And that's just really not the case pretty much anymore.
It depends. I mean, obviously, it depends the races, but I agree. There's plenty of good horses in these races, plenty of horses that can compete in open company, and we look forward to these days as well. We have 3 of them. Used to have 1, now we have 3. They're growing, they're multiplying. And listen, anything to bring Naj out to the track is good by me.
Yeah.
Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, there you go. Wow. It's like the proverbial hook. Belmont 25 is the promo code. We will match the $200 of your initial deposit plus a $25 bet. Join Naira Bets. Play through Naira Bets. Keep the money in the game. We have just multitude of stuff. A Prairie Meadows Pick 5 bonus. There you go. Out in Iowa, where apparently Leal horses are running with frequency, according to that graphic. I don't see the Leal Silks that much anymore.
No.
It's like themselves $10 back on a losing ticket. We also have a bonus with Santa Anita, I believe. They have a bunch of stakes at Santa Anita today. $75 or more at Belmont and Santa Anita.
Mandatory pick 6, Rainbow 6.
Ooh.
We'll have a ticket up.
You have a mandatory.
We'll have a ticket up for the mandatory over at NairaBets.com a little bit later on today, and we'll tweet it out as well.
I'm proud to work for one of the few tracks in this country that doesn't have a jackpot bet. What else do we have? Mandatories are good, though. We have a carryover here. See, we have actual carryover.
We'll have a ticket up for this as well.
There you go. Everything's covered. $73,064. Nice carryover. And this Memorial Day pick 6 begins in race number 5. As Anthony told me before, he was able to quickly get to race 5 in a 10-race card, much more quickly than I could. We also have Belmont Stakes. Tickets are available. Go to BelmontStakes.com. And finally, last and some version of least, America's Day at the Races, 12:30 to 6 today, covering our action as well as Churchill.
Give you a bonus verbal slate. There is a bonus cross-country pick 5 today as well. Churchill race 7, Belmont race 7, Churchill race 8, Belmont races 8 and 9. There'll be a ticket up for that as well. We hit it again on Saturday.
Yes, you did.
We'll try and hit the Monday one. Thanks.
All right, we'll get to today's first race. A very good scratch in the first race for Anthony.
Here we go.
Missing Fortune coming out. There would have been a Missing Fortune. I don't think it would have been a Fortune.
I wasn't betting a fortune on Missing Fortune. I promise you that.
The other deposit horse is a little interesting, though. But Royal Currency, I mean, we'll show the last race. I get it. I mean, this horse is now 0 for 5 and has lost to some short prices. The rest of them are various kinds of fuzzy. I see that Sister Linda, but she didn't get bet at all. But she did meet a good field, but she didn't do any running, went backwards. And, I mean, I think the horse actually, the rail, and we're going to talk about Sweet Maeve in a little bit, is a little bit interesting. But I just couldn't take anybody over this horse. The figures are so dominant in the last 2 races. But listen, I get people being sick of horses like this.
Yeah. So she was a late scratch in the paddock. A few, I want to say like 10 days ago. And I talked to the other half of the A train, the little Acacia Clement, and she told me that Charlie Baker actually scratched her. It was a day where it got a little bit warm, and she was not sweating. So Charlie decided to scratch her when they got to the paddock. Keep that in mind. If you remember her being scratched, that was the reason. It was not a soundness issue. It was nothing other than the fact that she was not sweating.
Well, it is a warm day today. So.
It is a warm day today, so let's see. I think that, and that's part of the reason I brought it up. Let's see if she makes it out of the paddock today, how she looks on the racetrack. Charlie was worried she wasn't sweating, so maybe, and that's a great sign, because more often than not, people will say, well, she's sweating, she's lathered up. That's not a good sign. According to Charlie, that will be a good sign today to see her sweating a little bit.
Charlie upset the heavy favorite in the first race yesterday. The horse that horse will never win a race. Not in New York, it's not going to, after yesterday's debacle. And today the shoe's on the other foot. He's got the heavy favorite in here, and they'll take a shot with them. It's sort of Sweet Maeve. I want to show the start of her first race because she actually didn't run that badly in this race. I mean, she's breaking from, I guess, the inside. And there she sort of jumped up, and she broke a good 3-4 lengths behind the field. And she really didn't run that badly that day, all things considered. Still ran a 45 buyer. You know, you get that buyer in the mid-50s if she didn't break, trying to go a mile first time out. I thought she was a little bit interesting here, depending if any of the others can do any running. So I'm looking at her as the alternative in here. I don't know who you have second and third, because
I put Sister Linda second.
Okay.
Yeah.
She did meet a good field first time out, but did no running. Race number 2, the Mount Vernon.
First of 5 stakes on the card.
Classic Lady, I guess, will probably be the favorite in here. Maybe Runaway Rumor will be the favorite. We'll talk about her in a minute. But Classic Lady winning 2 races back in the Ticonderoga. It just feels like Classic Lady, even though she won this race. You know, she was very fortunate to win a couple of races, and I guess she's the reliable one, maybe a little more so than Yokaz. But I felt like she kind of lost a step last year, and now she's a 7-year-old. You wonder if she's going to lose another step.
Right. I couldn't agree with you more. And I would like a little recency. I mean, she only ran 4 times last year and didn't make her debut until we were just about 7 months into the year, which kind of bugs me as well. So, yeah, I mean.
Or about 6 months into this year.
Yeah, she can win. 5. She can win.
Make a great point.
But I'll take one of the fillies with some recency.
Why don't you talk about our top choice Runaway Rumor?
Yeah, so along the lines of dropping into state breds, now there's a difference between a drop into state breds for class relief, and there's a difference between running against Plum Ali, Bleecker Street, and Ruggier and dropping into state breds. That was her second start of the year, first start since an off-the-board finish in the Hillsborough, and she's just been keeping so much better company. Like I said, she has the recency. This barn, I have tried to wake this barn up for about 4 months.
You could argue being the guy who put them to sleep.
You could argue that. But this filly, Runaway Rumor, likes Belmont Park. She has some recency, and she is getting some class relief in here.
Even though she ran well in the Sands Point, I think she's really better. A 7 furlong to a mile type around. The Widener suits her running style much more than the Inner does. She also got left last time in a paceless race against better horses, and it put her in horrible position. She was trying to close the stretch through with Lamista last time, and while Lamista may not be exactly a grade 1 horse at this point, she is pretty good, and Lamista outclosed her, but that's not that surprising, especially if she got left. And I like her getting back to a slightly shorter race around the Widener. I think it suits her running style. She's got to show up today. That figure last time belies her performance a little bit because it's a little bit of a suck along in a fast race for a turf horse where she didn't do that much running. But I do think there were some slight mitigating circumstances in the race. And I really think if you look at her, he's sort of one turn. You look at the beginning of her career, those mile races. I mean, yes, she was very fortunate to beat Manon when she won the Wild Applause, but she still ran a credible race. And her deep closing style is much more flattered by the Widener, where you see the closers usually run more effectively, than the Inner, where the paces are much slower. And bring her back in Tampa against a killer field at a 1 1/8 was sort of an odd spot to beginning to bring her back. But at the end of the day, Anthony, she better deliver today.
She better.
She better deliver. I mean, if she loses, it better be because somebody else runs a big race.
Yeah, now or never time.
Yeah, I mean, and I like her too, and I've always liked her, as I know you have, but you're getting a little concerned, even though she's been in tougher company.
Yeah, and as the morning line favorite.
Right. So
for
she's
a
the
barn
one.
that's not winning right now. Yeah, it's there's a lot not to like.
The other now horse in here is She's the One, and we'll show her winning last time. Now, she was lucky to win. Kara's Dreamer was extremely unlucky to lose this race. Kara's Dreamer came back, and while she probably was aggressively rated in a race she shouldn't have been, she also ran atrociously. I don't know which matches. The problem with She's the One is she's just not good enough. But maybe she's the one with some more recency. She got an unbelievably great trip and ride here from Trevor, and she's really got to improve to be competitive with horses in here.
Yeah, I mean,
I get it. She's the new
put her in
face.
a great spot. She did not beat much. It's weird, though, because...
Well, she was second best.
Yeah. I put her second because I don't trust Classic Lady off the layoff, and like you said, maybe she's lost a step. And Runaway Rumor, you know, she did not really do a lot of running last time. And that's the second time this year.
And Yokaz is not overly reliable, and she's not that good anyway.
And she's coming off the layoff as well.
And you want to try to make Silky Blue wire the field, but she's got massive distance limitations, and I tried to do it the Ticonderoga with her when she had everything her own way, and she just couldn't get there.
If she was ever going to win a race
going long,
this was going to be the race.
And a mile on the Widener is a tougher race to wire, even as the lone speed, than a mile and 16th on the inner.
She's the one who's dangerous for those reasons today.
But she is the controlling speed, and I like her. I just think she has massive distance limitations. And it's not like she's that good anyway.
No,
you know what I mean? It's not like she's so good going shorter that she could run a lesser race,
Correct.
but she does have a potential pace advantage in here. Race number 3, aggregation. David Aragona put up a sort of amazing stat on Twitter last night that at the Belmont meet, which is just over a month old, Chad Brown is 18 for 25 with favorites with a $3.04 ROI, which means that they're winning and paying an average of $4.22. So he probably, in that sample, rates to win 11 or 12 of them, probably closer to 10 to 11 because you factor in the takeout in there. They're slightly higher prices. And he's won substantially higher. How far it's sort of deviated from the mean, I don't know. And you have to wonder a little bit when the regression, the inevitable regression, the mean is going to happen. We can show the replay in aggregation's last race. The problem I have with aggregation is obviously lightly raced, he's talented, and he's a major factor, and it's very hard to get in the way of this bar and the way they're going, is he ran a gold rail last time. So he is a little bit dressed up. And he's being a horse, I think, in Full Moon Fever, who's not that bad.
You love Full Moon Fever.
By
the way, regression to the mean we need to get that. That horse needs to be horse needs to be named that. Regression.
It's hard to believe nobody's ever named a horse. Well, I mean, when you look at this race, I mean, Full Moon Fever, he runs his last race. He's going to be very competitive, if not the horse to beat.
See, now I feel like you feel about the Runaway Rumor. I feel like he's had a couple of suck-up races.
Well, he didn't suck up last time. He just ran third to better horses. He's actually had excuses in his races. We'll agree to disagree. That's fine. I think he just fits here, and I think because, aggregation's not going to be 7-2. I hate to tell you, David. He's going to be favored in here. I'm kind of shocked.
He has him favored. Oh, he has him second choice.
No, he has him second choice. I'm kind of shocked. I know he hadn't seen the stat before that, but if he doesn't think this Chad Brown open-length winner for Klarovich on the rail is going to be favored in this race, he's insane.
Pineapple Man. I don't like Pineapple Man off the gate scratch. We haven't seen him for almost 2 months now.
When was he gate scratched?
He was gate scratched. It's been a little while now. It's probably been about 3 weeks.
I don't agree with the pace projector. They have it at a fast pace along Major Spin.
He's got to be in front of you, right?
I'm skeptical. I agree.
Major Spin has enough speed, but I would think Pineapple Man has a little bit more of a body of work. That Major Spin was on a sloppy seal track last time.
I'm not going to argue with you. I agree.
You would imagine Pineapple Man, and Dylan's been a lot more aggressive, but Louis Saez is climbing aboard.
He's
Pineapple
not bad,
Man
Pineapple Man.
No, he's not. I just don't like the fact that he's gone 2 months now, and there was the gate scratch.
He's running today.
He is running today. Yeah. Okay. But I think Major Spin could put some pressure on him, but I do think Pineapple Man has the speed.
Well, he also breaks outside of that one.
Yeah.
But he is a horse that's probably best when he never in control in any of those races. I hear you. Aggregation is fine, but I do think he's a bit dressed up off his trip last time, and I think that makes him a little bit vulnerable. Maggie says that Pineapple Man was a late vet scratch. Steve wanted too. A late vet scratch on May 1st. Thank you, Maggie.
So
Thank
4
you,
weeks
Steve.
ago. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
And gals.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm going through the race. There's not too many places to go. I'd love to try to make G Munning, but he's probably a horse that needs to lead to win. I know he gets Lasix, and I'm just sort of wondering if G Munning can run at all anymore. You've got Thrill of It second.
Yeah, I got Thrill of It. Thrill of It stretched out to the mile last time, and I know it was a slow race, but his figure was a little faster than I thought it would be, and I thought he ran well enough at the mile. I think he's a horse that can kind of trip out here behind the other speed, and we'll see what kind of. He's 8-1 on the morning line. Yeah, I agree with you. I think aggregation will be closer to 2-1 than it'll be 7-2. I don't like Pineapple Man.
He'll be under 2-1.
You think he'll be under 2-1? Wow.
I just see the way they're betting on these Chad Brown horses. I mean,
and with that stat, they should be.
Well, no, I'm not. I hear you, but I mean, they're running. No, I hear you. Yeah, at this point, I almost feel like every Chad Brown starter, there's got to be, well, he may have 2 in a race, but one of them should be favored because they're just all favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of crazy.
Yep.
I mean, you think about it, he's 18 for 25. Well, I guess he's run a little over 50 horses. Almost half of his horses have been favored. And don't forget, there have been quite a few with 2 horses in a race.
Correct.
So, he's favored probably in 70 or more percent of the races he's in.
And then that Chad Brown exactly comes back and pays $68 the other day, whatever it did.
Well, that was a tricky race. Fortunately, the other Chad Brown beat me for a fortune. Thank you for bringing it up. Appreciate it. I think the 4th race is an interesting race today. Because there are plenty of sort of logicals that have chances to win this race. I don't think there's anything really wrong with Beyond EU and does get a real rider change to Luis Saez. I mean, Mr. Connecticut. Blinkers on for Mr. Connecticut. So they gelded Mr. Connecticut, and now the blinkers on.
What's next? Does the actual... I'm having a problem with my microphone today. What the problem is? Maybe it's the operator.
I'm not really electronically...
No, it's probably just me. I'm in a quirky mood.
Guy gets married, he gets gelded, and he gets blinkers on.
What do you think
What's
happens?
Next for him? Lock him in his stall?
Do they literally give him a kitchen sink next time?
Lock him in the stall or something.
Mr. Connecticut.
Poor Miguel. Mr. Connecticut's name, of course, is a
Miguel
reasonably funny joke.
Miguel has a terrible life.
A reasonably funny joke. He was named because, of course, his wife, Keisha Clement, who works for us, was Miss Connecticut, so he's known to some of his friends as Mr. Connecticut. So that's the joke, in case you're one of the 3 people that don't know it. And I think he's possible in there. The last race was sort of dominated the front end. He's fine. He's starting to run out of chance a little bit. Where'd you go here? Really, you're Uragano?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We're getting him onto the turf, half to Nico's dream, most of this family's turf. Dan was 3 for 22 on the grass. The Barnes tried to get this horse on the grass opening week of the turf course, and then last time out, ran him both times on the wet tracks. Now he gets to the turf for the first time. I want to give him a shot at a price.
Yeah, I mean, Nico's Dream's the one from the broodmare is good. The other one's one on the turf wasn't really very good, but no, I hear you. He's got pedigree. There's a lot going on in here, but I'm not going to argue with that.
He's a big price. Part of the reason I took him with the pedigree is he's 10-1 on the morning line.
That's fine. No, I hear you. I don't nothing. There's a lot going on in here. I mean, I left him off, but I had him 5th, and I totally get it. I mean, to me, I feel like this is a race, and you've done it with a different horse than I have, but this is a race to take a little bit of a shot because there's nothing wrong with him. Now, Nico Stratos, I'm not really a fan of, though he can win. But I want to show the star of that race for Frontline Dancer, who was the 9 in that race. And Frontline Dancer is one of 2 horses that had trips in this race, and that's why I put him 1-2. Frontline Dancer is just going to get completely smushed between horses. So while Nika Stratos was getting this unbelievably perfect trip, Frontline Dancer was just completely squeezed out of the race. Now, he ends up cutting over the rail. But I think if you compare the 2 trips and where he ends up, as opposed to where Nico Stratos ended up, even though he lost by 4 lengths to him, I don't think he ran perceptibly worse, and he does figure to be at least a slightly bigger price. I don't know where David has the morning line. He has the 6 at 8-1, and he has Nico Stratos 7-2. Isn't Nico Stratos supposed to sort of win here? I mean, Tom's horse ran well, but he's just not that good. And I feel like the one you want out of this race, I mean, look at him trying to rally out in the middle of the track. All the running in this race was done down towards the inside. Just feels to me like he's kind of the one you want to go to out of that race.
Okay. I preferred Nico Stratos, but sure.
Yeah, I think he's interesting. But the horse that really interests me here is Whistler's Honor. Whistler's Honor, this horse, if you watch the race, I didn't put it up because it's just most of it happens off the screen, but he breaks 2 lengths slow. He gets completely taken out of the race at that point. I mean, he's absolutely nowhere in there. He angled out, and he was green in the stretch. He was lugging in Irad, giving him a hard time. I'm not Mr. Gallop Out, but he just ran by the whole field in the Gallop Out. That was also a day where it was a big inside bias on the turf course, and he finished the race out in the middle of the racetrack, and he's a tonalist. If I'm not, I understand, but if a tonalist isn't better off stretching out, then I don't know what they are. And I've kind of waited for this horse to come back. He gets laced for a start. I think he's wildly interesting in this race, and he figures to be a fair enough price.
Yeah, he'll be a price.
Yeah, I mean, so I was kind of interested in him. I just think when you look at them, I don't like Nico Stratos, really. He can win, but I just feel like, and listen, you've got him 4th. It's not like you're in love with him either. I just feel like, the other thing is, Jonathan Thomas is a trainer that wins in bunches. If you think about his in New York, he wins in bunches, and his horses are running okay. But they're running like mere mortals. They're not. He's just not coming in here. There have been a couple of Belmont meets, not always, and I'm not. It's just where he's just coming here. It feels like every horse is sort of honed to a T.
We touched on him briefly. I mean, Biondi makes a ton of sense.
Oh,
in
sure.
here,
He's super logical.
right? And he's 4-1 on the morning line. I mean, if you're able to get that kind of a price on him,
in here.
that's what I thought.
I mean, this is a very tough race to
It
make a
is,
line.
but
I'm not, but I agree with you. You
He's
see
only
that
had two
Saez
chances.
switch.
He gets the rider switch. He has the recency.
I
with
assumed
the
he'd
good
be
race.
favored.
Me
I'm
too.
with you. Yeah.
Me too.
And the other thing about Mr. Connecticut is, I wonder if they're sort of getting tired of him. And I don't think he ran badly last time. I think he can win, but I think he ran a little better than it looks. But
He's also the kind of horse that's kind of found himself in bad spots so far in his career.
Yeah,
Right,
a
he
little
finds
bit.
a
But
little
he's had his
traffic.
chances too. And
Yeah,
it's
I don't
Vermont.
disagree.
And Christoph's another one of these guys. They're supposed to win right away.
I'll put it to you like this: if I and I should, it was lazy on my part not to look at it. If I really think Biondi would be 4-1, I probably would have put Biondi on top in here.
You make a great point.
I don't think he will be though.
We'll see. No, it's a tricky race to make a line. Race number 5 starts to pick 6. Got to carry over. I don't know if you've heard. Look at that. Francisco never would have been as quick with that.
Boom.
Never would have gotten this up as quickly.
There's the boom.
So, big scratch of Waterville coming out. Oh, I think you liked.
I did.
Rayumi is in, and we'll take a look at, is it Rayumi?
I believe it's Rayumi, yeah.
We can't do a post-race interview if Michael Dickinson's here if this horse wins. He was interviewing Maggie the second half of the interview when this horse won.
That's fantastic.
He's the greatest. He's a legend. There's no doubt about it. Let's take a look at that race. What he got was, as usual, a great ride from Trevor McCarthy. And particularly because the rail was very good on opening day. And most of the best running was done on the inside. And this horse really ran. And I think there's an argument, good trip or not, that this is the kind of horse that's supposed to almost improve off this race,
Yes,
right? It's not like
correct.
he sort of got lucky on the front end.
She just came running.
Yeah. And I mean, you scratch into her. I have her second.
Yeah.
I'm not against her.
We
but
see the race similarly.
The problem is, Anthony, that this horse was 7-1 first time out. You kind of missed the party. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's going to be
Supposed to might be the favorite now.
well, she has to be. Who's going to be favored over her?
Yeah.
She's going to be 8-5 in here? What price was she morning
No,
line?
she's probably the favorite now.
Yeah, she's 5-2 morning line. She's favorite anyway. Well, she's going to be 8-5, 6-5. And I don't want it in a second-time starter. And as far as New Guinea, who's going to be a short price also, and I had picked New Guinea, and I wanted Waterville in there.
Well,
because
of
then I
course.
would have gotten a better
You're
price.
getting 3 times the price, right?
Because, contrary to popular belief, I'm not beholden to all speed figures. And
What did he have Waterville at?
3-1. I think he's probably. I mean, the 4-1 open lengths first time out. You know what I mean? Got that Dickinson mystique to him. There's still a mystique to Michael.
He's run 8 horses.
When
this
you
year.
run,
And won one.
When
This
you
one.
run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in Cheltenham, Maggie was saying how I think Maggie was talking about how she saw Michael at Cheltenham, and she was talking. She was, she's obviously known him for a long, long time, and she said people were coming up to her afterwards saying, "You were talking to Michael Dickinson." I said, guys, I mean, I don't think a lot of people here understand
He's a legend.
what a legend he is. We kid about Michael, and he's a terrific guy, but I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the Cheltenham Gold Cup. I mean, there were probably 800 horses in the race. It's kind of an amazing feat. I like the way this horse finished up. He got a good trip in there. I'm not going to deny it. He did break a step slow. I thought Dylan gave him a fabulous ride last time. He cut right over the fence on him. But this horse was really running at the end of that race. And
Yeah.
listen, I don't want to, I don't love the field he was in. She was in, and I think Waterville's probably a more likely winner in some. Raymond may be a more
Really?
likely winner, but I don't know.
She's the other horse. I mean, now she's the other horse.
Yeah, I mean the others are. Let me ask you a question. You don't like I'm Fine at all? I looked up those 2 turf races at Fairgrounds. I'm going to tell you something. She ran against a lot better horses than you would think she ran against. I looked at those and thought, oh, she's probably in some phonied up race. Not true. I'll give you an example. The horse who was second in that race, okay? She ran a 70, what did she run, a 76 buyer that day? No, 71 buyer. She came back on the turf with an 83, 81, and 75. I think that she ran against legitimate horses down there, and I'll tell you something. I think she's just a better horse in the turf. If you look at her
maybe
races
you're
compared
right.
to her dirt races, I thought she was a little bit of a fuzzy in here at a price.
Okay. Joe Sharp has good short numbers through the last couple of years, 28% with a 333 ROI going dirt.
Never
turf.
been in a New York bred race on the turf. And I think she might get a little over. Like, do you really want Out of Sight? I mean, Out of Sight found the right field last time.
I
You know what I
guess.
mean? It's not impossible, but the rest of them didn't do a lot for me. That's the first half. Lots of stakes coming up. Stakes galore. A veritable plethora. We'll be right back.
Betting on. How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Did you miss us? We missed you. He's Anthony. I'm Andy. The Critical Eye. Critical Eye was a neat horse. Scott Schwartz, Pink Silks. She was a really cool horse.
Right after Hey Baba Lulu, she came around.
There you go. Wow.
That was my girl.
That's strong. Hey
I was
Baba
a big Hey
Lulu.
Baba
That's
Lulu fan.
You don't get a lot of Hey Baba Lulus. You don't
No,
get
you don't.
enough Hey Baba Lulu references.
No, you don't.
So I don't think we're covering any real ground here. On paper, it's very much a two-horse race. Doesn't mean they'll run 1-2. Doesn't mean that you don't want to win. But Bank Sting, here she is beating Maiden Beauty. And the thing with Maiden Beauty is, well, she's been a terrific overachiever. With the presence of a horse like Mashney Girl, she's going to have to face speed that she hasn't been facing. She was very opportunistic. I mean, what can you say about Bank Sting? She's been terrific.
She's been a pet for a couple of years now, and she's turned into a really nice racehorse. Last time, search results, obviously. And
I wouldn't worry about her last race.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about her last race at all. And she's back where she belongs. Make Mischief.
Well, we'll get to her in a sec.
Yeah, I mean, Bank Sting has just been so consistent, and I know she's won on wet tracks, but I think she's better on fast ground. She gets her fast
Does
ground
it seem
today.
to matter? Does it
It
matter?
doesn't. I mean, I think it matters a little bit. I think she's a little bit better on the fast ground. I think she wins on wet tracks because she's just a good horse.
I'd argue, actually, her race in La Verdad was one of her better races because she was way against the track that day, and she still ran a big figure. So I'm gonna disagree, but okay.
Defending champ of this race. So yeah.
One of the things.
She's my single today in the pick six, by the way.
Single?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't agree with that, but okay. Good luck. I hope you're right for your sake. If we look at Make Mischief, now the race we're showing Make Mischief is two back, and she rode a gold rail to get that 99 buyer. So don't think this race makes her superior because she ran a bigger figure. She was so with the racetrack. She has an exaggerated number, but I will say that I think her Empire Distaff was significant. She ran significantly better than Bank Sting did. Now, to be fair, Bank Sting was coming off a layoff. So I can give her, you can bit of an excuse, but she was right on top of that pace. And that pace was pretty quick. She was just ahead of Bank Sting, and she hung around. She was the one who hung around. The other two horses made big runs. Ice Princess probably a little too close. Sharp Star came from last to win it. So I do think that she ran better than her. I don't have a strong preference one way or the other. You got one, I got the other one. I think they're the two horses to beat. I feel like Make Mischief has the overall, in a way, she's run the best races against the best company. But that doesn't mean she has to beat Bank Sting, who's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I think Bank Sting gets the better setup, too, with a little more speed in here today and just sits off them.
Well, okay. I think they're sort of in the same position in this race. I'll be surprised if they're particularly separated. I mean, why would they be far apart? They both have a similar amount of speed, right? I mean, Bank Sting's probably faster. If you think there's a lot more pace, it might help Make Mischief. I think it's a neutral pace. Bank Sting's pretty quick. Race number 7. You mentioned the Cross Country Big 5, which is the second leg. Why don't we put up the ticket and you can go through your play?
Oh, I don't. The ticket's not up yet, but I can give you.
We just want to slate for it.
I have it. The ticket will be up in a little while. I'm going to start at Churchill with the 2, 6, and 10.
Which race is that?
Race 7 at Churchill.
What's the? Oh, you don't have the.
I don't have PPs with me. They're inside. 2, 6, and 10, and then race 7 coming up. The race we're about to talk about. I'm going to use 2 horses: November Rain and Yokaz. Then Churchill Downs, the winning colors: 1, 2, 3. Then Belmont race 8, 2, 4, 8, and the race 9, 2, 3, 7. That's an $81 ticket.
I want to look at something.
Well, the ticket will be up later on at NairaBets.com. We tweet it out from NairaBets. I'll retweet it from the Big Ace to Beal, so they'll all be up.
We got some time. So the 7th at Churchill, you were using 2, 6, and 10?
2, 6, 10, yep.
I did handicap these races. That's why I was thinking. That's a tough race, Andy.
It is.
That is a tough race. I will absolutely grant you that.
Phil Balor started the year 0 for 30. He's now 3 for his last 12. I think he trains the 2.
Yeah, he seems logical. I want to like the 6, getting back to the dirt, greener pastures. Problem is he has no speed, and it's not easy to close in that track. At
No, it's not. No, it's not. Yeah, Angor's the 2, the 6 is Greener Pastures, and the 10 is AC Expressway. Like Andy said, it hasn't been easy to really close there. It puts Greener Pastures and AC Expressway up against it. I'm hoping Gabe Sayas can keep Angkor close to the pace.
Yeah, I don't have the pace projector in front of me. What's the 8th race?
The 8th is the winning colors. I went 1, 2, 3. Joyful Cadence should get a good trip. Might even be loose on the lead from the inside.
Well, with the 6. No. The 4 is the speed.
Will Tootsie?
Yeah.
I thought Joyful Cadence would be in front.
Scratch?
The daughter will run happy.
Do I have it wrong? I may have it wrong. No, I have it wrong. Yeah. Excuse me. You're absolutely right.
The other John Ortiz in here is the second choice. Novel Squall, the number 2, and then good old Sconsin's the 3. So I want the speed. I want the filly who's kind of up and coming in Novel Squall, and give me the old class mare in Sconsin. 1, 2, and 3 at those races at Churchill.
So race number 7. You and I were talking about it, and talking about it with David Aragona as well as the infamous Ryan Martin Naira. We'll start with Yokaz, who I have a considerable disdain for.
There's just, you guys have some sort of beef. I've never seen you
her
have
is
beef
not-
with a horse like this.
Well, I was right last time. Unfortunately,
She stumbled.
Yeah, but she's wildly dressed up and wildly overbet. This race that we're showing 2 back, she was the 4th fastest horse early. One of them stumbled badly to start, and the other 2, for some inexplicable reason, were strangled back in the race. And she ended up walking along on the racetrack that much favored her running style. She's beating Stone Creator, and I think we've all seen that Stone Creator has ultimately proven to be a disappointment. And she is meeting at least some slightly more interesting new face in here. I get it. I understand people love her. I'm probably a little hard on her, but she is a horse who has been significantly dressed up by very, very ideal circumstances. And I'll tell you what, with November Rain inside of her, unless November Rain stumbles to the start, she ain't getting the lead.
No. November Rain should be on the lead. Yes. Accurate.
She can win. We're both going to try to beat her. You've got November Rain, and we'll show her winning the Seeking the Ante. It wasn't a good field. There's no question about it. But I was talking about this with David Aragona, who has the 3rd choice at 5-1, and maybe he's right. Maybe people will just see Nest, and for some reason, Nest gets people excited. She lost by 100 lengths to her. This horse ran a 76 buyer in her second start as a 2-year-old.
She ran a 73 She ran a 73 buyer in her 3rd start.
Almost competitive figures as a 2-year-old with routine improvement. She's faster than Yokaz. Now, obviously, she's off a layoff, and I get all those things.
She's got to go to 7/8 off the break as well.
That's a very good point. Yeah, no, all those things are fair. I have trouble not thinking she's going to be the second choice here. David's usually right. Because I don't like the 3 at all.
Maybe it's the recency. Maybe she's also 2 for 2 against State Breds and coming back from the horse that ran 2nd in the Kentucky Oaks.
Well, yeah, I know, but she rode a Gold Rail, and David's probably right. So nobody cares about Gold Rails except serious horse players, but I think there's more money on Gold Rails than anything. It's not saying there isn't. But she rode a Gold Rail to victory and got a 77 buyer with everything working out absolutely perfectly for her. And okay, they got a little aggressive with her, but she hasn't done any running in those races at all. Maybe she comes back to reality. I don't think she's not impossible. I don't know. It just doesn't seem exciting. I thought Captain's Daughter was, I don't love Captain's Daughter, but I think if you are, and I like November Rain too. I get it. I mean, you've got her on top. You obviously do like her.
I like her a lot. Yeah.
A lot. Well, go ahead. You haven't really expanded.
Well, I just think that she's running figures as a 2-year-old that is on par with these horses. If she improves a little bit, she's going to beat these horses today. She's going to be in front of them, and I think she, at that price, maybe she's 3-1. I still think she's a good price at 3-1 because if you're right about Yokaz, she's the fastest horse in this race, and she hasn't even stepped on a racetrack as a 3-year-old yet.
I've got no argument with anything you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not. Listen, Yokaz may win. I just think she just keeps getting overbet, and she hasn't really. I think the Yokaz when these horses has PPs, and the problem with that stumble, and you may wonder why didn't we show the stumble at the start? That was probably the only time in my life I've seen our cameraman screw up the start of a race. Do you remember that race? You probably don't remember. You watch the replay. The camera veered away. He must have hit his leg. Something happened. It veered away. So the only way to see the start is on the head-on. You can see the horse stumbling after the break, but you don't get any feelings exactly how badly it exacerbated the situation. As far as Captain's Daughter, okay, let's throw out the turf race. She actually ran well against it, way against the flow of the race when behind Yokaz. And I don't think she ran perceptibly worse than Yokaz that day. And now Yokaz, as opposed to crawling on the lead, is supposed to be.
On
And
the chase.
knowing her luck, November Rain will break
Don't
4
say,
lengths slow or
oh.
something. But if she doesn't, she's going to have a much better pace. And she's run races that are good enough that if the race gets a little bit hot and heavy, and if I'm right about the 3, she could be the one rolling along at the end. And the horse is going to be 8, 10, 12 to 1. I don't mind taking a shot.
Well,
Frankly,
she might be bigger than that.
yeah, I don't know how much bigger than that she could be because she's so. I mean, the 7, 6, and 8 are very hard to make, and adversity's a little bit tough to make. Even though she beat a horse that came back to win the other day, so I think she probably ends up vying for first choice there. I just thought she was the best reasonable alternative I could come up with in a race where, frankly, I do agree with you on November Rain, but I don't want to take her off the layoff at 7 furlongs, and I think Yokaz will be breathing down her neck in some respect. The Mike Lee, big scratch in the Mike Lee. The 8th race coming up with Hot Rod Rumble, and not Salute to America. Hot Rod Rumble coming out. Takes out some of the speed in the race, changes the complexion of the race a little bit.
3 Abreu's for you today. Wow. 3 Abreu's.
Well, you've picked 15 of them.
I know.
I got to catch up. Somehow I got to catch up. I'm going to bet on him when he starts regressing the mean and starts winning races. As far as this horse, Woohoo, That's Me, obviously the scratch the 8 hurts it. I left him on top. I thought this horse ran extremely well last time. He's the number 3 horse. He breaks about a length slow. He ends up in back. This is a race that was, other than him, was totally dominated on the front end.
He's the only horse that did any running in this race. Late, anyway.
I thought this guy really did significant running, and it's not like he comes in this race with no credentials. I mean, his race beyond Shipsational was good. Obviously, the Remsen, who cares what he did in there? This horse has run some credible races in his career. I really thought, I guess, that he ran extremely well in here and lost to a horse that's in good form that unfortunately isn't going to play today.
He's also, he's a good example, and you'll say, some of this is malarkey. He's a good example of when it's going bad, it goes bad, right? He's the kind of horse where he runs a winning race in here, and it was just.
He had too much to do.
He had bad luck. He had a lot of bad racing luck. Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? Everything else went right, but once the start happens, it kind of puts him behind that proverbial 8 ball, and it's a little too much to overcome. Yeah,
no, I agree. I think he's the horse to beat in here. We'll take a look at. Why don't you talk about Tin Pan Alley? I'm sorry, I should have put his replay up. I thought I did.
That's all right. Runs into Rotney, who's turned into a useful horse. Rotney's breaking right alongside of him today. First time out, we didn't see him for 8 months. He came back, and like a lot of those Chad Brown runners did over at Aqueduct and continue to do here at Belmont, he dominated in his return. Do I love the fact that he beat Eminency? No, but he kind of did it the right way. He did it from off the pace. There's some pace in here for him, and I don't know. He was just a horse that kind of made some sense to me. With Hot Rod, I thought it was a 2-horse race with him and Hot Rod Rumble. I wanted a little too best idea at one point. The race kind of opens up for me a little bit more now.
Race.
No, it's not a 2-horse race. The race kind of opens up a little bit more now. We'll see what best idea can do. He kind of got things going again last time, and obviously Hot Rod
Rumble is 6 to 1 on the morning line, so the favorite's best idea. So I get it. I just feel, and I think one of the interesting things is that both Tin Pan Alley and Aggregation were coming off of maiden wins, and Chad chose the non-winners of 1 for Aggregation, and he chose the stake for Tin Pan Alley. So I think it's arguable he's showing some confidence. Now, maybe he also felt that Tin Pan Alley has more time since the last race. What?
The other race is a mile, too, isn't it?
Okay, this is 7 furlongs.
Yeah. Well, I think that plays a role.
Maybe, but he still chose this one instead. And Aggregation also ran 4 weeks later, but I thought that was a little interesting. I think he might be okay, but I also think it's gotten to the point, and understandably so, with Chad Brown's horses winning, that his horses are going to be getting even more ridiculously overbet than they've been getting. And listen, you say maybe they're not getting overbet because they're all winning. We'll see. I picked him second. I don't disagree. He can win. I feel like I won't even be surprised if he ends up favored, and I don't think this horse should be favored. I don't think he should be. I just think the other horses, too many horses run well and run better races.
He probably shouldn't be the favorite.
And Best Idea maybe should be favored. Look at Best Idea. Now, Best Idea was not flatter when Ineo lost yesterday. I'm not worried about that because, okay, we're going to show him. That's my fault because we'll get back to Rodney. I apologize, guys. I screwed that up. He had the rail. He angled out, but the other horse was able to ride in the rail, which was a better place to be. But he should have won this race. Now, maybe 7's going to be better. But I'm starting to wonder if this is a horse that had a super impressive debut, completely bombed at 3 to 5, and then hung to a horse who's okay, but he still hung to a horse, older horse or not, at 7 to 5. Yeah, he's good enough, but I'm starting to wonder if this guy's going to be kind of a disappointment.
Maybe. I mean, obviously.
I got a third. I'm not against him. I'm just. You're not afraid of Rotney being faster than Cosmike in here? We'll take a look at Rotney now. This is Rotney being agility. I mean, you don't think it's a little scary that he could wire the field? I mean, this race 2 back was pretty darn. This race was strong, Anthony.
Yeah, it was good. I liked him 3 back. This race was good 2 back. But he also kind of made an easy lead 2 back where I thought there was some more speed signed on in there. He just
a pretty
made
quick
an
pace
easy
when you
lead.
consider
Yeah, I guess.
how slow the track was. They won 127.
Yeah.
So it's pretty quick.
I think Kaz Mike's going to do a little damage on him on the front
We'll
end.
see. If he does, then he's in trouble. But if he doesn't, I'm scared of this horse.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, with the 8 in the race, it was much harder for the pace not to be solid.
It was.
But with only one of their speed in here, it's not so clear.
His job's a lot easier today.
Yeah,
Put it like that.
I don't want to. I actually thought about putting him second after the scratches and moving him up. I decided not to move things around. We'll see how it plays out and he's also a good complement if you like the 9, like I do. Because if the 9 doesn't win, it might be because of a variety of reasons, but it might be because the speed holds up. Race number 9. Number 9, I would love to bet against Some Like It Hot Brown, and we'll take a look at the Mohawk. But he's loose again, and he's too good for these horses if he gets loose.
You're probably right.
Though I'll tell you what, this is a time for Christophe Clement to stop pretending that City Man isn't a better horse when he's forward. He's not going to be in front, but he better be right on this horse's butt.
And the way the draw happened, he can leave for a little position here.
But they don't.
On Some Like It Hot Brown.
It's like he's too tepid with this horse.
And I think the fact, listen, I bet him last time in the Fort Marcy thinking he would be, and he was just.
They made no attempt to go to the lead. Now, he didn't handle the bog, but they made no attempt to go to the front.
But there was no attempt. And maybe that's in part because of the bog. Right. But it looks like
doesn't like going to
me.
lead for some reason. I don't know
This
why.
horse, you know what? Joel does a pretty good job at not listening to people sometimes, so maybe he will.
That's why he wins races.
That's why he wins races, yes. Maybe he'll just. I mean, this race is supposed to line up 7-2. It's supposed to.
My problem is I'm not sure he's better than Some Like It Hot Brown, but he does have recency.
He might not be.
But he has
recency. Has the recency, and that's why I took him.
I still think I would love to bet if this race was on the Widener and there was a little more speed, I would bet Sanctuary City. The Inner is such a lousy curve course for him. He's just a better horse than the Widener where he can make that big run. The Inner with slower paces hinders his run. But that horse is in great form. I mean, even almost won a 1.25 miles last time out. I mean, this horse is just in terrific form. He's had form for over a year. Jimmy's kept him in great form.
I was going to say, it's not even form at this point. He's just a good horse. He's
he's a good horse, but he's kept that good form.
He's up against it.
Yes, but
on this course and on this pace scenario, he's kind of because if City Man is not ridden for speed, Something Like a Hot Brown is just going to lollygag on the front end.
Yes, he is. He may lollygag anyway.
Right.
I'd love to have used I think Ocala Dream may take a step forward into these. Otherwise, his return race was okay. Just don't think this is the day he's ready to quite do it. I think you and I both the same idea, putting him fourth. Cross Border, I always like to see him do well, but I don't like him in here.
The elder statesman. The elder statesman of the group now at 8, Andy.
He's amazing, that horse. A very, very cool horse.
Yep.
Race number 10. I know Sinfully Sweet didn't run well last time, but he was on top of a pace that ended up collapsing. And this race we'll look at 2 back in November. I mean, you don't have Simply Sweet in the top 4?
No. I didn't like that last race at all. At all. And I'm starting to think now that the 70 buyer on November 21st, and that course in the fall at Aqueduct starts to get a little, starts to play a little
Palace
different.
Gossip's come back and improved his figures off that, so that doesn't make sense.
This horse is other 2 turf races. I don't want this horse. You can have this horse. This horse will beat me today. I don't want this
probably
horse.
will.
I don't want this horse.
Okay.
Not for me.
Okay. I disagree completely with you. I think he's way the horse to beat in here.
Okay.
Where have you gone?
I went to the number 9, Smoking Hot Kitty, second time Christophe Clement.
Based on?
Gets an extra 1/8 of a mile. Race was dominated on the front end last time by the Bruce Levine first-time starter. I thought this horse from the rail kind of just, looked like he needed a race. She needed a race. Now she gets an extra 1/8 of a mile. Some post relief drawn outside. Second time Christophe. I'll land here at a square enough price, 5, 6, 7 to 1.
I doubt she's that price.
She's 6 to 1 morning line.
Yeah.
Listen, wait.
She was awful first time. I don't agree with you at all.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to be shocked. I got her 4th. She could improve. She was atrocious first time out. Didn't do a stitch of running in that race. Had a good trip and did no running at all. I mean, I understand the race dominated up front. One reason dominated up front is that nobody behind did any running. And she wasn't even sucking up ground. She just wasn't running at all. She may improve second time, but Christophe usually has them ready first time out. I guess Queen of Lies, not impossible. I'm interested in Lay's Edition. She's got plenty of pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
She's a half to Crawdaddy. It was a nice turf horse for George Weaver. There's some good turf in there. I was interested in the 5 and 6 as my interesting turf horse. They scratched the 6. I'm left with a 5. I'm even going to use Mo. I don't even, how do you pronounce that one? The 2.
I don't know. Maggie probably knows.
Somebody knows, not me. I'll use that or as getting
Moni
the
and
turf.
Don?
That, of course, could be a little bit interesting. Dave Donkin is one to the turf. We disagree on race number 10 as we close it out. What do you say, Big Apple Showcase? It's
I
very
believe
hard to
today
keep
is Big
them
Apple
straight.
Showcase Day.
All right. Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, what are you waiting for?
No idea.
Use the promo code Belmont25. We will match up to $200 your initial deposit and give you a free $25 bet. What else do we have? We have Prairie Meadows bonus, pick 5 bonus, bet $10. Get $10 back on any losing ticket, presumably over $10. I'm going to make that. I'm just going to guess that's the case. If you can bet 8 and you get 10 back,
You gonna ad-lib that?
I'm in. I'm opening multiple accounts.
Ha! Can't do that, Andy. We'll put a list on you.
300 accounts and make $600. Doesn't seem worth the effort. We also have a $20 bonus if you bet 75 or more here in Santa Anita. Plenty of stakes action at Santa Anita. When's their meet end? Or is it just never end? It's like Gulfstream now.
June something?
Oh, my God.
23?
Must be a little warm there in June. Where else do we have here? Cross country. Thank you. We forgot this early. Very good job. Anthony's got that ticket.
It'll be up in a little bit.
All right. Races 7 and 8 at Churchill and our 7, 8, and 9 here. All stakes here. And what else do we have? We have a pick 6 carryover. Starts in race number 5. 73,000 and change. Pick 6, a pretty healthy carryover in the pick 6. Playable sequence, whether or not manageable sequence, whether or not last race is pretty open. Last race is tough to hone down on anybody. It's tough to trust anybody in the last race today.
We're going to take therapist out of the tickets, by the way. It's going to go City Man and something like a Hot Brown. So that 81 now becomes 54.
All right, what else do we have? Belmont Stakes tickets. Head over to belmontstakes.com if you want to get tickets and come. You really should. It's going to be an amazing day of racing. Early forecast looks terrific, weather in the 70s. And it's always good to rely on a weather forecast 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
You know, that works out well, yeah. And America's Day at the Races, 12:36, covering all the action here as well as Churchill. I think the Derby winner, Rich Strike, I'm getting close to getting his name right. I usually get it wrong.
He's working between the 5th and 6th or something like that?
I can't wait. There's nothing I love better than watching a workout. I really can tell so much by the workout.
Well, you're an expert.
I am, yeah. I just want to I'm so sorry I'm not in the show and I won't be there to comment on it.
Oh, you
Count their legs.
Can you do me a
I'll be
favor?
later.
Call me and let me know what you think.
I'll
be
bet.
here.
Yeah, because that Maggie doesn't know anything.
I have a bright blue parrot shirt today that I'm going to wear downstairs.
Okay,
to relax.
so you might want to avoid the downstairs at Belmont. So thank you for the warning, Anthony. We appreciate that. Johnny I is up next to reprise, scratches and changes. Have a great day.